Welcome to English Conversations. Listen and read to improve your skills. Perfect for learners at the A2 to B1 level.
Last Friday, Steve, a businessman from Seattle, was looking forward to a relaxing 2 days in the mountains. He and his wife had arranged a skiing weekend in a luxury hotel. But the weekend didn't work out exactly as they had planned. Steve worked until late on Friday evening. His office was on the 12th floor. When he finished at 8 o'clock, he locked his office and got into the elevator. And he didn't get out again until Monday morning.
I pressed the button for the first floor and the elevator started going down, but then it stopped. I pressed the button again, but nothing happened. I pressed the alarm and shouted, but nobody heard me. Most people had already gone home. I tried to call my wife, but my cell phone didn't work in the elevator. I couldn't do anything. I just sat on the floor and hoped maybe somebody would realize what had happened. But on Saturday and Sunday, I knew nobody would be there. I slept most of the time to forget how hungry I was.
Meanwhile, Steve's wife, Kate, was waiting for her husband to come home.
I was very worried when he didn't come home on Friday evening, and I couldn't understand why his cell phone wasn't working. I called the police and they looked for him, but they couldn't find him anywhere. I thought maybe he was with another woman.
So, Steve was in the elevator the whole weekend from Friday evening until Monday morning. At 8 o'clock, when the office workers arrived, they called the emergency number, and somebody came and repaired the elevator.
I was very happy to get out. I hadn't eaten since Friday afternoon, and I was very hungry. It's lucky that I am not claustrophobic because the elevator was very small. The first thing I did was to call my wife to say that I was okay.
Steve will soon be the fittest man in his office. From now on, he's going to take the stairs every day, even though it's 12 floors.
Today we talk to Laurel Reese, who's writing a book about how to live more slowly. She's going to give us 5 useful tips.
My first tip is something that is very simple to say, but more difficult to do in practice. Whatever you're doing, just try to slow down and enjoy it. If you're walking somewhere, try to walk more slowly. If you are driving, make yourself drive more slowly. It doesn't matter what you are doing. Cooking, taking a shower, exercising in the gym, just slow down and really enjoy the moment. We all try to do too many things that we just don't have time for. So my second tip is make a list of the 3 things that are most important for you, your priorities in life. Then, when you've made your list, make sure that you spend time doing those things. Imagine, for example, that your 3 things are your family, reading, and playing sports. Then make sure that you spend enough time with your family, that you have space in your life for reading, and that you have time to play sports. And forget about trying to do other things that you don't have time for. Tip number 3 is don't try to do 2 things at the same time. The worst thing you can do is multitask. So, for example, don't read your email while you are talking to a friend on the phone. If you do that, you aren't really focusing on your email or your friend, and you aren't going to feel very relaxed either. Tip number 4 is very simple. Once a day, every day, sit down and do nothing for half an hour. For example, go to a cafe and sit outside, or go to a park and sit on a bench. Turn off your phone so that nobody can contact you, and then just sit and watch the world go by. This will really help you to slow down. Okay, my 5th and final tip. One of the most relaxing things you can do is to be near water, or even better, to be on water. So, if you live near a lake or a river, go and sit by the river or go boating. If you live near the ocean, go and sit on the beach. Relax and listen to the sound of the wind and the water. You will feel your body and mind slowing down as the minutes go past.
First, I did the photo test. I asked an office worker who was eating his sandwich to take a photo of me. He was really friendly and said, "Of course I'll take your picture." When I asked him to take more photos, he said, "Sure, no problem." When he gave me my camera back, he said, "Have a nice day." Next, it was the shopping test. I went shopping near Times Square, and I bought an I Love New York t-shirt and some drinks from 2 different people. I gave them too much money, but they both gave me the exact change back. Finally, it was time for the accident test. For this test, I went to Central Park, and I fell down on the ground. I only had to wait about 30 seconds before a man came to help me. "Is this your camera?" he said. "I think it's broken."
Next in our list of things that you thought were bad for you is chocolate. Jane, our food expert, is going to tell us why actually it can be good for us.
Well, there have been a lot of studies recently about chocolate. Remember, chocolate is something that we've been eating for hundreds of years. It's not a modern invention. And the studies show that chocolate, like grape juice, contains antioxidants. In fact, chocolate has more antioxidants than grape juice. These antioxidants can protect us against illnesses like heart disease.
Really?
Yes, but, and this is very important, all the good antioxidants are only in dark chocolate. So don't eat milk chocolate or white chocolate. They aren't healthy at all. And of course, you also need to remember that although dark chocolate is good for you, it contains a lot of calories. So if you're worried about your weight, don't eat too much. 1 or 2 pieces a day is enough.
Great news for me because I love chocolate. And now to Tony, our TV journalist. Tony, newspaper articles are always telling us about studies that say that we watch too much TV, that we spend too much time sitting in front of the TV, and that as a result, we don't exercise enough. They also say that watching TV makes us stupid. Is this all true, Tony?
Well, it's almost certainly true that we watch too much television, but it probably isn't true that watching TV makes us stupid. I've just finished reading a book by a science writer, Steven Johnson, called Everything Bad is Good for You. One thing he says in his book is that modern TV series like The Sopranos or House or Mad Men are more intellectually stimulating than TV series were 20 years ago. He says that these shows are complicated and very smart, and that they help to make us more intelligent.
Well, I can believe that. But what about reality shows that are so popular on TV? I can't believe that these are good for us.
Well, Steven Johnson says that we can even learn something from reality shows. He says this kind of TV show can teach us about group psychology, about how people behave when they are in a group.
Well, thank you, Tony and Jane. So now you know what to do this evening. You can sit down in front of the TV with a box of dark chocolate.
Hey, Rob, come on. Keep up.
Sorry, I'm a bit tired this morning.
You aren't exactly in good shape, are you?
I know. I think I'm eating too much.
Then eat less.
It isn't easy. I eat out all the time. And the portions in American restaurants are enormous.
You don't do enough exercise.
I walk a lot.
Walking isn't enough, Rob. Do you do anything to keep fit?
I cycle when I'm in London.
So why don't you get a bike here?
I'm only here for another 3 weeks. Anyway, my hotel's near the office. I don't need a bike.
You know, Jennifer goes running all the time, before and after work. But I just think that running is just so boring. I mean, where's the fun?
Yeah, I'm not very keen on running.
So why don't you play basketball with me and my friends?
Okay, that's a great idea. But I don't have any trainers.
Trainers? Oh, sneakers. You can buy some.
Is there a sports shop near here?
Sure. There's one across the street.
Hi, Jenny.
Oh, hi.
Have you had a good day?
Oh, meetings. What about you?
It was great. I went to Brooklyn and met some really interesting people.
And you had time to go shopping, too.
What? Oh, yeah. I've just bought these.
What are they?
A pair of trainers. Sneakers.
Nice. Why did you buy sneakers?
I think I need to get a bit fitter.
Oh, I'm impressed. I go running every morning in Central Park.
Do you?
It's so beautiful early in the morning. Why don't you come with me?
Sure. Why not?
Great. I'll come by your hotel tomorrow morning.
Okay. What time?
6:45?
6:45.
45.
Can we make it a bit later? Say 7:45?
That's too late, Rob. Let's make it 7:15.
Okay.
Excellent. See you later.
Great.
Basketball and running, Rob? You must have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Today's topic is positive thinking. We all know that people who are positive enjoy life more than people who are negative and pessimistic. But scientific studies show that positive people are also healthier. They get better more quickly when they are sick, and they live longer. A recent study has shown that people who are optimistic and think positively live, on average, 9 years longer than pessimistic people. So, let's hear what you, the listeners, think. Do you have any ideas to help us be more positive in our lives? Our first caller this evening is Andy. Hi, Andy. What's your tip for being positive?
Hello. Well, I think it's very important to live in the present and not in the past. Don't think about mistakes you made in the past. You can't change the past. The important thing is to think about how you can do things better now and in the future.
Thank you, Andy. And now we have another caller. What's your name, please?
Hi, my name's Julie. My tip is think positive thoughts, not negative ones. We all have negative thoughts sometimes, but when we start having them, we need to stop and try to change them into positive ones. Like, if you have an exam tomorrow and you start thinking, I'm sure I'll fail, then you'll fail the exam. So you need to change that negative thought to a positive thought. Just think to yourself, I'll pass. I do this and it usually works.
Thank you, Julie. And our next caller is Marco. Hi, Marco.
Hi. My tip is don't spend a lot of time reading the papers or watching the news on TV. It's always bad news, and it just makes you feel depressed. Read a book or listen to your favorite music instead.
Thanks, Marco. And our next caller is Miriam. Miriam?
Hi.
Hi, Miriam. What's your tip?
My tip is every week make a list of all the good things that happen to you. Then keep the list with you in your bag or in a pocket. And if you're feeling a little sad or depressed, just take it out and read it. It'll make you feel better.
Thanks, Miriam. And our last call is from Michael. Hi, Michael. We're listening.
Hi. My tip is to try to use positive language when you speak to other people. You know, if your friend has a problem, don't say, I'm sorry, or, oh, poor you. Say something positive like, don't worry, everything will be okay. That way you'll make the other person think more positively about his or her problem.
Thank you, Michael. Well, that's all we have time for. A big thank you to all our callers. Until next week, goodbye.
Earlier this year, 10 years after Steve sent the letter, some workers were renovating the living room in Carmen's mother's house. When they took out the fireplace, they found Steve's letter and gave it to Carmen's sister, and she sent the letter to Carmen. Carmen was now 42, and she was still single.
When I got the letter, I didn't call Steve right away because I was so nervous. I kept picking up the phone and putting it down again. I almost didn't call him at all, but I knew that I had to make the call.
Carmen finally made the call, and Steve answered the phone. He was also now 42 and also single.
I couldn't believe it when she called. I just moved into a new house, but luckily I kept my old phone number.
Steve and Carmen arranged to meet a few days later.
When we met, it was like a movie. We ran across the airport and into each other's arms. Within 30 seconds of seeing each other again, we were kissing. We fell in love all over again.
Last week, the couple got married, 17 years after they first met.
I never got married in all those years, but now I have married the man I always loved.
So Steve and Carmen are together at last. But will they keep their promises?
So what does it mean, Doctor?
Well, first the party. A party is a group of people. This means that you're going to meet a lot of people. I think you're going to be very busy.
At work?
Yes, at work. You work in an office, I think?
Yes, that's right.
I think the party means you are going to have a lot of meetings.
What about the garden and the flowers? Do they mean anything?
Yes, flowers are a positive symbol. So the flowers mean that you are feeling positive about the future. So maybe you already knew about this possible promotion?
No, I didn't. But it's true, I am very happy at work, and I feel very positive about my future. That's not where my problems are. My problems are with my love life. Does my dream tell you anything about that?
Yes, it does. You're single, aren't you?
Yes, well, divorced.
Because the violin music tells me you want some romance in your life. You're looking for a partner, perhaps.
Yes, I am. In fact, I met a woman last month. I really like her. I think I'm in love with her. I'm meeting her tonight.
In your dream, you saw an owl in a tree.
Yes, an owl, a big owl.
The owl represents an older person. I think you'll need to ask this older person for help. Maybe this older person is me. Maybe you need my help?
Well, yes. What I really want to know is, does this person, this woman, love me? Well, yes. What I really want to know is, does this person, this woman, love me?
You remember the end of your dream? You were feeling cold?
Yes, my feet were very cold.
Well, I think perhaps you already know the answer to your question.
You mean she doesn't love me?
No, I don't think so. I think you will need to find another woman. I'm sorry. Perhaps you can find someone on the internet? I have heard of a very good website.
Hi, Emily. Sorry I'm late. I was watching the big game.
Well, come in. Mom, this is Nico. Nico, this is my mom.
Oh, hello.
Nice to meet you, Nico.
And this is my dad.
Hello, Nico.
Hello.
Come on into the living room. Would you like a drink, Nico? Orange juice, soda?
Oh, thanks, John. I'll have a soda, please.
You're a vegetarian, aren't you, Nico?
Yes, I am. Personally, I think eating animals is totally wrong.
Ahem. Well, this is vegetable lasagna. I hope you like it. Emily's dad made it.
Any more lasagna, Nico?
Oh, no thanks. I'm not very hungry.
The lasagna is delicious, Dad.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
I'll do the dishes, Mom.
No, I'll do them.
Where's the bathroom? Did you watch the big game this evening, John? The Lakers and the Celtics? It was exciting.
No, I didn't watch it. I don't like basketball at all. In fact, I hate it.
Oh.
So, What are you going to do when you finish college, Nico?
I don't know.
What are you studying in college?
Sociology.
Why did you choose sociology?
Because I thought it was easy.
Is it interesting?
It's okay. What was Emily like as a little girl, Marion? Do you have any photos of her?
Photos of Emily? Yes, we have thousands of photos. She was the cutest little girl, wasn't she, John?
Yes, she was. A beautiful little girl.
Can I see some?
Oh no, please.
John, can you bring the photo albums? Look, and this is one when she was 3 years old.
And this is when we went to Disney World. That's Emily with Mickey and Minnie Mouse.
She was so sweet.
Would you like another soda, Nico?
Yes, please, John.
Good morning and welcome. On today's program, we're going to talk about singing. In the studio, we have Franco, the director of a singing school in Miami, and Molly, a student at Franco's school. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
First, Franco, can you tell us, why is it a good idea for people to learn to sing?
First, because singing makes you feel good. And secondly, because singing is very good for your health.
Really? In what way?
Well, when you learn to sing, you need to learn to breathe correctly. That's very important. And you also learn to stand and sit correctly. As a result, people who sing are often in better shape and healthier than people who don't.
Are your classes only for professional singers?
No, not at all. They're for everybody. You don't need to have any experience with singing, and you don't need to be able to read music.
So how do your students learn to sing?
They learn by listening and repeating. Singing well is really 95% listening.
Okay. Molly, tell us about the class. How long did it last?
Only one day, from 10 in the morning to 6 in the evening.
Could you already sing well before you started?
No, not well. I've always liked singing, but I can't read music and I never thought I sang very well.
So what happened during the class?
Well, first we did a lot of listening and breathing exercises, and we learned some other interesting techniques.
What sorts of things?
Well, for example, we learned that it's easier to sing high notes if you sing with a surprised look on your face.
Oh, really? Could you show us?
Well, I'll try.
For those of you at home, I can promise you that Molly looked very surprised. Were you happy with your progress?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, we were singing in almost perfect harmony. It was amazing. In just one day, we really were much better.
Could you two give us a little demonstration?
Oh,
okay.
I arrived at the airport in San Juan, Puerto Rico, where I met Nilda. Hola, soy Max.
Encantada. Soy Nilda.
Nilda took me to my hotel, and that evening we went to eat, and it was time for my first test. I had to order a sandwich and a drink in a cafe and then ask for the check. I sat down at a table and I tried to order a soda and a chicken sandwich. Por favor, una refresco y un empanado de pollo.
Enseguida.
Terrific. The waiter understood me the first time. My pronunciation wasn't perfect, but I got my soda and my sandwich. I really enjoyed it. But then the more difficult part, asking for the check. ¿Cuánto es?
$6.90.
¿Cómo?
$6.90.
$6.90. I understood. Nilda gave me 8 points for the test. I was very happy with that. Next, we went out on the street. Test number 2 was asking for directions and understanding them. We were on a narrow street, and I had to stop someone and ask him or her for the nearest drugstore, una farmacia. I stopped a woman. At first, I didn't understand anything she said.
Siga derecho y tome la segunda calle a la izquierda. Hay una farmacia en esa calle.
I asked the woman to speak more slowly.
Todo derecho y tome la segunda calle a la izquierda. Izquierda.
I got it this time, I think. The second street on the left. I followed the directions, and guess what? There was a drugstore there. 7 points from Nilda. Test number 3. I wasn't looking forward to this one. I had to take a taxi to a historical place in San Juan. Nilda wrote down the name of the place on a piece of paper. It was the name of an old fort near the ocean. We stopped a taxi. El Moro, por favor.
¿Qué? ¿A dónde?
He didn't understand me. I tried again, but he still didn't understand. I was desperate, so I said, Fort, old, water.
Ah, El Morro.
Finally. Nilda only gave me 5 points because I ended up using English. Still, at least I made the taxi driver understand where I wanted to go. And so to the final test. I had to leave a message in Spanish on somebody's voicemail. I had to give my name, spell it, and ask the person to call me back. Nilda gave me the number. It was one of her friends named Lourdes, and I dialed. I was feeling a little nervous at this point because talking on the phone in a foreign language is never easy.
Deje su mensaje después de la señal.
Buenas noches. Soy Max. Max? M-A-X. Por favor, llamarme esta noche. Oh, yes. A las 8:30. Gracias. Well, my grammar wasn't correct, but I left the message. Half an hour later, at 8:30, Lourdes called me. Success! Nilda gave me 8 points. That was the end of my 4 tests. Nilda was happy with me. My final score was 7. I was very happy with that. So, how much can you learn in a month? Well, of course you can't learn Spanish in a month, but you can learn enough to survive if you are on vacation or on a trip. Now I want to go back to Washington, D.C. and try and learn some more. Adios.
Are you okay?
Me? Never better.
It's beautiful here, isn't it? I think this is my favorite place in New York.
Yeah, it's great.
So, how's it all going? Are you happy you came?
To Central Park? At 7:15 in the morning?
To New York, Rob.
Yeah, of course I'm happy. It's fantastic.
Really? You aren't just saying that?
No, I mean it.
You need to get in shape, Rob.
I know. I'm a bit tired of eating out all the time. It isn't good for my figure.
It's the restaurants you go to. Why don't you come over to my place after work? I could make you something a little healthier.
I'd really like that. Thanks.
So, how do you feel now? Are you ready to go again?
Oh, yes. I'm ready for anything.
Are you sure you're okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. We'll only go around 2 more times.
2? Excellent. That was a lovely meal. Thanks, Jenny.
That's okay.
It's been great being in New York. You know, your offer to work here came at a very good time for me.
Really?
Yeah. I was looking for something new. Something different. You see, I broke up with my girlfriend a few months before I met you.
Oh, right.
What about you?
What about me?
You know, relationships.
Oh, I've been too busy recently to think about relationships. Getting this job at the magazine was a really big thing for me. I guess that's taken up all my time and energy.
But that isn't very good for you. Only thinking about work, I mean.
Why didn't you tell me you weren't feeling well this morning? We didn't have to go for a run.
I wanted to go. It was nice.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. Would you like another coffee?
No, thanks. I think I should get back to the hotel now. I've got a really busy day tomorrow. Do you have a telephone number for a taxi?
Yeah, but it's much easier to get a cab on the street.
Oh, okay then.
I'll see you in the morning, if you're feeling okay.
Oh, I'm sure I'll be fine. Thanks again for a great evening.
Anytime.
Good night.
Night, Rob.